Welcome back. SLEWNIVERSE episode 22. We're joined by Martin Hirner, aka DokeTV. He's an amazing graffiti artist in general, huge content creator on YouTube. You know, we've been virtual friends for many years. I've been following Doke since 2015. It's amazing. We have so much in common, actually, just from different parts of the world. We're like the exact same age, and we've done similar things. So it was so interesting to get to sit down and talk with him. He was visiting New York City, and we talk about graffiti, his opinions on art, his aspirations of moving forward with art, his rise on YouTube, much more. There's a guest surprise question for him, which is really great. You'll have to check out. But it was just a wonderful conversation. I really enjoyed it. We also painted a mural the next day after recording this podcast, and you could check out that video on my channel or his channel. Really epic. Episode 22 with Doke. Please enjoy. So first of all, let me just say this. Somrad zesme samohil tretnut o zombinje si ujazne provod. How was that?
That's perfect.
Did you understand what I said?
Yeah, kind of. What was the last word? Read it again.
Si ujazne travota.
Dvorca.
Tvorta. Okay, it was really hard. But
I really appreciate that.
for people who don't know what I said, I'm glad we got to meet in person. You're an awesome creator, and Smo Nova is an old man.
Ah! Perfect. This is all we need to say right now.
But welcome, dude. You're in New York City.
Thanks a lot.
You're excited to be here?
My pleasure. I'm very excited. This was on my travel list for a very long time.
Right.
And it's awesome. I'm, here for just about 8 hours, and I already love it.
Yeah. And you're by Central Park, which isn't super close to me, but you're bouncing around. And we've also never met in person until 20 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
Exactly. It's definitely awesome because we know each other virtually.
Yes.
For a very long time.
Very long.
And finally we got this chance, It's always awesome when you meet someone who you know.
Yeah.
But in person, it's always very different.
It's so awesome. And for me also, like, I feel like we have the little community now, like 1000, Kipto, who you worked with, Smo. We're all like pretty good virtual friends.
Yeah, and I remember that this was not the case before.
Mm-hmm.
I knew about you, then somehow I noticed 1000,
mm-hmm.
and then you two were like starting collaborating together, and I and Smo started to collaborate together with this old man from Germany, and
he's gonna love that.
He's gonna be laughing hard.
Yeah.
And back then we talked together with Smo, and we were like, these two Americans, they're working together. But right now I feel like we are one big group, and it's awesome. We definitely have to do like a big meetup.
I know. I mean, after the huge collaboration with 1000, like that was just, first of all, the sickest project I think I've done, but it really connected us. The only person who wasn't involved was Kipto, but now
he's there.
And also even running it back, like you were the first person, and like I followed you from, I vividly remember when I left university and I was living at home working in a restaurant. This must have been 2015. You had like 12,000 subscribers, and I was watching your videos. Because when I started doing YouTube, it was graffiti. Like I love graffiti. That's what I wanted to do. I like to do murals and characters, but it was all graffiti. And you were like the only other YouTuber who was like a real YouTuber, like vlogging and doing graffiti. So I've been following you for literally 5 years, whatever you started. So it's just crazy, full circle now.
It is. I started in 2014, so we discovered me pretty early.
Mm-hmm. And then you shot up so quick, and I was like, what?
Yeah,
but it was literally like a proof case of like, wow, look at this kid doing it. He's not even in America, he's all the way in Slovakia. I don't know how big YouTube is there, but I'm like, holy crap, like he's doing it and getting success, and it totally was inspiring for me.
Yeah, until till this day, I am still pretending in front of YouTube that I'm from America.
Yeah.
I have it in my description of my channel.
Yeah, that's actually funny because I got a lot of stats on your channel because it's interesting. But like when I was typing in biggest Slovakian YouTubers, your name wasn't popping up. I was like, that can't be right.
Yeah,
Because like it's literally you and PP Peter, right? Pretty much.
There is one guy with a bigger amount of subscribers, and there are a few other guys who are doing not so personal stuff. One guy built Lego, and yeah, but in Slovakia, I mean, people kind of know me, but I wouldn't consider me famous in my home country.
Okay, so that I want to like bring it back, and I like to some sort of chronological order of your life.
Okay.
Like you started doing videos in 2014, but my question is like, what did YouTube mean to you before you started making videos? Were you watching it always? Were all the kids your age in Bratislava like following YouTubers, or were you kind of unique in that way?
For me, back in 2000, I don't know, 12, something like that. It was the time when YouTubers started to appear in Slovakia, and it was this new trend, and they were mostly recording gaming videos, and people were like, yeah, YouTubers. Till this day, it's pretty negative.
Oh, really?
It's a lot better these days, but I remember that when someone called you YouTuber, it was almost insulting because they were doing all these crazy kiddie stuff and something like that. But there were also great not producers. What's the right word? Creators,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I was watching some YouTube videos back then, but the reason why I started my very first YouTube channel was actually pretty embarrassing because I had a friend from my classroom, and he started to upload pirate videos to YouTube, like American TV shows, stuff like this, and he started to make a very serious money.
No way.
Yeah, he made like, I don't know, $2,000.
And this was like way long, like 2012, 13.
2013.
Holy, that's 11 years ago.
Yeah, and we
That's
were,
crazy.
we were still in high school, I guess, and it was just wow. And we were like, he's making money. We need to make money. So I and also some other friends from classroom, we started our own YouTube channels with our own pirates shit, and
That's hilarious.
yeah, but then these were the wild times on YouTube when you actually could do that.
Yeah.
But around that time, YouTube started to pay attention to these things, and they shut down most of these channels.
Wow.
I had like 6 of them. All of them were shut down within a month.
So funny.
So, yeah. So this was my first contact with YouTube, which is
Not what I was expecting. Illegal enterprise.
yeah,
You and the
living that illegal
high
life.
school Bratislava kids. That's hilarious. But so then, okay, money, you understand it, but you also love graffiti.
Yeah, I started with graffiti back in 2007. Once again, classroom mates. We started, we did discover this world, and I had a very good friend who was also very interested in graffiti. We lived next to each other, and this was the time when I developed probably the most, like the first 2 years. And this was way before YouTube. If I remember correctly, not even Facebook was popular back then.
Wow.
It was 2007, 2008 that we were uploading our stuff to Fotolog. I don't know if it was a thing here.
What was it? Follow lock?
Yeah.
I haven't heard of that. No.
It was basically like Instagram, but there was a graffiti community there, mostly Slovak artists, and we started to upload there. There were comments, there were even insulting comments from all the artists. It was great. We had the feedback.
Yeah.
There were beefs. It was basically the beginning of this social media space, and it was great. And yeah, then when Fotolog sort of got away because of all the other platforms, I also finished high school, and I got to college. And this was a little bit like that time when I lost the interest for graffiti. I didn't lose it like completely, but I also, with this friend, before that we were pretty close and everything. But then we all found our own ways. They were kind of separate, so it was not that I didn't live that artistic life all that much, because I also went to college, which was not connected to art at all.
Right, and you finished university as a math major.
Yeah.
Right, which is crazy.
Yeah, insurance math.
Insurance
like
math,
that.
really? Is that
Yeah.
specifically?
Yeah, it's called actuary, something like that.
I have no idea about math.
Yeah, most of the people don't really know this.
Yeah.
I always every time when I say it, what is my major or thing in college, I had to like add insurance math, because
Right.
that's like insurance math. Okay, I know.
Because I have a question about that. Because again, speaking of YouTube, like you started, first video was in 2014, and in that first year, well, the end of 2014, 2015, you made 60 videos, which is a lot for people who don't make YouTube videos. Content like that's like a part-time, almost full-time job to film, edit. You're painting people. Again, us artists, we have to make the art, we have to make the video.
Yeah.
And then in 2016, you made 140 videos.
Really?
Yeah, which is insane to me. I have only like 220 videos on my channel. In 1 year, you made 140 videos. And that was, again, when I was following you and when you were blowing up, you were doing like literally 3 videos a week.
Yeah.
Like some Casey Neistat head crackhead energy. Like, I don't understand how you did that much work. But you were going to school, university.
Yeah.
During that time.
Oh my god.
Actually, the first 3 years of college were pretty okay for me, because yes, I was doing graffiti from time to time, but then after these first 3 years, when I was a great student, everything went well.
Parents are happy.
Yes. Then I started to take YouTube more seriously, and the last 2 years of college were pretty bad. I mean, I barely graduated.
Really?
Yeah, but I was so happy that I made it. I was actually thinking about like quitting, but
You saw it through.
yeah,
which is good.
But I wanted to finish that.
Yeah.
I wanted to have that achievement in my life that I finished that.
Were your parents very like, did they, not to be too personal, but was that math route like what they wanted you to do from a young age, and like, hey, get a good job, get this good degree, it will set you up for good work? And was there pressure from your parents?
I mean, for sure, this was probably the path that they wanted me to do, but they were not super strict about it. I mean, yes, my mom from time to time told me, this might not work. Or the absolute classic was, yeah, it might work now, but what you're going to do in 3 years, right?
That's smart.
But
True.
it's true. It's true till this day.
Yeah.
But they always supported me in this way. Maybe they were not super happy about it, but they never told me like, okay, stop this.
That's
do
good.
something different.
And
It's great.
especially like when you started getting success, you were making money, and like pretty decent money, I'm assuming. Because another stat here, if people don't know, Doke, he has 1.2 million subscribers on YouTube, 145 million video views. And I have on my whole channel 13 million.
Okay, that's a
Isn't that
difference.
crazy?
Yeah,
Like that's so many for people who don't know. And I'm not just saying in terms of how much money that's being made, but clearly, like, again, ad revenue. And I'm assuming a lot of your viewership is like actually US, right?
Yeah, that's
Which
right.
is where you make even more money.
Exactly.
And so like when you started this full-time job, again, 140 videos in 1 year. We're the same age, by the way. You're exactly 3 months older than me.
Oh,
I'm March 21st.
okay, kiddo.
1995. But so like as a 21-year-old and you're making pretty good money, where they're like, okay, like keep going, dude.
This time when I was making 3 videos per week, You know, when I think about it right now, I'm still like, how the hell was I doing that?
I was saying the same thing. I was comparing myself to. I was like I was working at a restaurant full time, but still, I was like, oh my god, I can't make this many videos.
It was. I mean, okay. When I look back at these videos, for sure they were pretty basic. You know, most of them were recorded in one day. But what is even crazier to me is that I was even editing all these videos,
Right.
and yeah, when I think about it right now, it was completely crazy, and I didn't have much time for anything else. But then it was not possible to do that for a longer period of time. I remember that I had to push it down to 2 videos. Then later on, I was doing just 1 video 1 week and 2 videos the other week.
Right,
And
yeah.
this was the schedule. But yeah.
But I mean, it proves, especially that year when I think 2016, I think that those were the years of Casey Neistat, right, Chris? Like 2016, 2017.
Yeah,
like
he was a big inspiration.
being consistent and uploading that much was why you're so successful, I think. I mean,
Yeah.
just the amount of stuff you were putting out, the ability for people to follow you super consistently.
It was one of the Casey was a huge inspiration back then, and it was also the fact that back then this was the thing that YouTube wanted from you.
Yeah.
A lot of uploads, so I was just doing that, and fortunately this sort of changed. These days YouTube doesn't want you to upload every single day, fortunately, because this was the back then it was the era of daily vloggers
Yep.
like Casey.
Yep.
And even he would say that it's not healthy to do that.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Not at all.
I just remember again, because like I watched everything that you did and just seeing the amount of videos you're uploading, I'm like, what the hell? But it's just testament to your work ethic and discipline. Also, to switch it up real quick, I was watching old videos and you were saying, welcome, I'm Doke.
Yeah.
And so is that actually how you say it?
Hey, yeah. You made me switch to my native language. Yes. As I said, I started in 2007. This is also the year when I gave myself my name. Doke.
Doke.
Doke. This is the pronunciation. My friends are still this day they are calling me Doke.
Wow.
And yeah, but it didn't really go well with American audience because they were like, nah.
They would have naturally eventually just gone to Doke.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Or Doki.
Doki. Yeah, that's true.
Because it's pretty much the same as Nike, right?
Right.
Oh,
good call.
Nike, Doke,
Yeah.
something like that. And yeah, some people pronounce Nike. So we were like, Smoey.
Smoey. Yeah, I never knew. He never really said it either, so I thought it was Smo. And then I heard maybe you either say Smoey, and I was like, oh, God, I've been saying his name wrong.
You are confused, right?
Yeah. Does Doke
Good.
mean anything? Or is it just little letters?
No.
It's not like a word in Slavic.
I used to be Deco before, but then
I-K-E or I-K-O.
yeah, but then I just realized that there is another guy like this in my city, so I switched the letters. So there is no big story behind my
Right.
name, which is kind of sad. But then later on, I realized that Doke in Japanese means "get out of my way," and it's awesome.
That is good.
I love
That's
that.
a good one.
I love that meaning.
Is it
and-
pronounced the same?
No.
Doke.
I don't know. How is it pronounced in Japanese?
I don't know.
but-
My aunt's Japanese. I'll ask her.
Okay.
Later.
Let me know.
I will.
Let me know.
Yeah, that's so funny. Because I just always find it interesting, and I don't want to sound ignorant, but like from being someone who grew up in Europe and having that perspective on America, but also like trying to upload videos for entertainment to get people to view, like even making thumbnail or titles in English. Like you're obviously very good at it. You got a bunch of viral videos, but like, was that something that was hard? Like you're great at English, but like being, you're tending to this almost other crowded country, right? For America, like you were saying, was that ever like hard for you or struggle or a huge learning curve?
Well, especially if you watch my old videos, my English was terrible.
Really?
I mean, I used to struggle with English all the time in high school, and YouTube actually learned me how to speak properly and understand. And I still remember when I came to America for the first time, I was on a work and travel program. I was doing a lifeguard in Orange County.
Wow.
And I still remember that I was so nervous because I was afraid that I won't understand these Americans. And yeah, most of them were fine, but then there were some guys who had weird accents and they were saying shit, and I was like,
Nodding. Okay.
yeah. There is a golden rule. If you don't understand, just smile. You know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. Does everyone in Bratislava learn English?
No. Yeah. Actually, yes.
It's normal?
It's normal. Most I would say most of the kids start with English in when they are like 7 years old, something like that. And we also start with German when we are a little bit older.
Wow.
I've been learning German in high school for, I don't know, 7 years, but unfortunately I don't speak German.
Yeah. Wow.
But it's mainly because of the fact that we didn't use German. You know, I'm using English every single day.
Right.
That's the reason why I adapted to this world. But
Yeah.
German, yeah.
Oh man, I'm jealous. I mean, I always get so jealous of people who speak many languages. Do you just speak English?
I speak English. I speak Slovak, which is not really helpful in this world.
But you grew up there. It's your
Yeah,
home.
I also understand and can speak Czech, which is
Okay.
very similar to
Right.
Slovak.
Right.
And I mean, German, I kind of understand when Germans are speaking, but barely.
Is it similar at all to Slav?
No,
Not at all.
Not at all.
Okay.
I mean,
Not at all.
for example, Russian is kind of similar to
Okay.
Slovak, but I don't understand Russian.
Oh, okay.
Maybe some words, maybe something.
Interesting.
It's like, I don't know, 20% matched, something like that.
Right. Yeah. That's so interesting. Yeah, because you're pretty good at English. I just always thought that's so crazy. Like even, and whether, because I've been to Europe quite a bit. Like I said, my grandma lived there. I've been to Spain and Italy a bunch, and anywhere you go, everyone speaks English. Like pretty much from my experience.
Pretty much.
Almost everyone.
Well, when you go to Italy, for example, not all the time.
Really?
But also in Slovakia, I know that there are areas where if you go, you would be lucky to find people who speak fluent English. I mean,
Yeah.
most of the people know some basic phrases.
Okay, so it's more the younger maybe generation
Yeah.
with social
yeah,
media.
yeah, definitely. Younger generation is definitely good at this.
Mm-hmm.
But speaking about these things, it just makes me so happy, and it makes me realize how grateful I am that I got into this understanding.
Right.
Because, as I said, I was so bad at it in English. You know, I just this is great that I can understand you.
It's wonderful. I'm jealous. That's like one of my superpowers. If I had a genie, rub that genie got some wishes. One of my wishes would to be speak a bunch of languages.
Yeah,
And I could survive in Spanish. Like I feel like normally in United States you learn like Spanish or French. Like you have to take one of those, and then you'll learn it through high school. I also took Mandarin in high school. Don't remember one word. Took it for 3 years, but I don't know. I always just am like jealous of people who are bilingual. It's just so cool.
Spanish would be great.
Yeah.
I would like to learn
I have
Spanish.
broken Spanish. I shouldn't even say that. Yeah, I'm just like, it's just crazy. Again, I was looking over your videos. I'm just like, I was tripping out how long all these things were. Like, I vividly remember watching the PPP collaboration, PP Peter.
Yeah.
PPP.
PP.
PP Peter, which was like a huge video, but that was 5 years ago.
That was one of the first big successes of my YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And
And he was bigger than you, right? At that time.
at that time, he was starting his foreign YouTube career because he was well known in Slovakia, and he actually had a problem that when he started his English channel, all the viewers were from all his whole audience was from Slovakia, and so YouTube put him into Slovak group.
I see. It wasn't be able to reach
Yeah.
global.
He was not able to do that, and I was the only guy who actually had some foreign audience. So that was the reason why our YouTube network, because we are in the same YouTube network, they put us together and we made this collab, and it was so pure. It was
so good.
I made the script in my head.
Yeah, but it was like the first, from what I saw, like a big produced story idea, like even introducing each other.
It was yes, but I didn't even write it down, you know.
Yeah.
And the guy who was filming it, it was like it was a fan.
Yeah.
He was a fan. I was writing with him on Facebook, and he was like, "Oh, you are coming to my okay? I'll come. I said, yeah, sure, man. You can take some shots." And it was so pure, and it was till this day. I think it's one of my greatest videos because Peter, he showed his acting talent there.
So funny.
He created such a funny character, and yeah, we actually tried to do like second part of this, and it was a lot. We had a script, we had a camera guy, we had everything prepared, and it was not so good.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's sometimes that's how it goes.
That's how it goes.
The raw,
yeah,
fun. But it's just crazy, like how, like 5 years ago, I can't believe that. It feels like yesterday. Also, the Kipto, when you went to Venice, that was 4 years ago. The big mural with Smo, Germany versus Slovakia, that was 3 years ago. I'm like, what the hell? Like, I guess COVID eviscerated 2 years, but that's like that mural you did with Smo. I was like, I feel like I watched that yesterday.
Yeah,
It's insane.
it's funny that till few months ago, some parts of this mural were still there for so many years because it was so high, and nobody got the nerves to paint the wall all the way up.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, this place doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, that's sad.
But
I shed a tear for you.
I shot
That place was an epic spot to paint.
It was absolutely great because it was sort of outside of any civil areas, so nobody cared what you are doing there.
Yeah.
So I could, do mass for sure. I didn't put trash there and stuff like this, but you can splash color and whatever.
You can do whatever you want.
And people didn't care.
Do you think that's like a big reason why you were able to practice so much? Because where I grew up in Connecticut, it's like more suburban, not city. Also, there's no graffiti. Like, it's not at all like that. But there was a skate park where they had open walls that you were allowed to go buff the wall and paint. And like, without that, I would have not been where I am today because it gave me the opportunity to paint. And I feel like not a lot of people have that. And like the accessibility of being able to pursue graffiti.
Yeah, these walls definitely help this. I mean, when I think about it right now, I sort of changed my way of practice because in the last year, I realized that I was painting so many murals that I actually didn't have a chance to practice. I just needed more time for practice because, it's great. You prepare a design that takes about 2 days, but then you are painting that design for other 3 days. So that's not really a convenient way for getting better. And when I think about that, when I think about this from a perspective of a young artist who lives somewhere where he doesn't have this opportunity, because this is a very common question. People ask me, how do I get these walls?
Yep.
And from my perspective today, I think like you don't really need them, You can practice on paper, on your iPad, whatever. But I guess you need that real life spray painting experience in order to really get into this world of especially of graffiti. If you do more street arty stuff, but still, it's about the streets. It's about painting it in real life
and using the spray paint. Like it's still a learning curve. The technique. That was even. I don't do murals anymore, but I remember that was by far the biggest question. Like, did you have to get permission? Where's this wall? And I was just like, nope. Skate park in my town lets me. And even before that, there's still a couple videos on my channel way back, like same time, 2014. In my garage, I put like 3 things of plywood and would just buff over that, paint over it 100 times.
Yeah.
And that was like the best ever because you could just practice whenever you want. And it is true, but it's just interesting because so many people I think want to do murals or get into spray painting, but they don't have that sort of opportunity to paint big scale.
Yeah, they have to do what they can do, and that's probably digital art, I guess, because that's pretty accessible. You don't need an iPad for $1,000. You can, you know, have that graphic tablet for $60.
Totally.
You need a monitor, you need some PC, and you can do some. Yeah. You can do whatever you want.
Right. Yeah. So what about art versus graffiti? Like would you define yourself as a graffiti writer, or would you say, I'm not trying to speak for you, but I think that's a good conversation, versus art or an artist?
This is a big conversation. Because I am
I want to hear your viewpoint on it, because I got locked into that category also. And also my relatives who don't really pay attention, they're like, oh, Sam, you're the graffiti artist. And I was for a while, but you know, I only did that for really like 2 years, and then I switched kind of really heavily into canvas work, and I guess you could say graffiti characters. But even my uncles and aunts now are like, how's the graffiti going? And I'm like, whatever, it's not bad. But from your perspective,
yeah, I am probably known as the graffiti guy, because that's where I started. But on the other hand, since the day one, I was always called out for the fact that I never really painted illegally. And for the true graffiti scene, this is kind of the point that you need to have
100%,
in order to be a graffiti writer.
Yep.
Then there is this other category, graffiti artist, where I tried to put myself like, I am a graffiti artist. I paint graffiti as an art form. I don't do it illegally. That's why I don't call myself a writer. This is super uninteresting, because it's it's just, you know, this play with words.
Yeah.
And well, I was doing mostly graffiti till, I don't know, 2018. And then I was like, when I met Smo, you know, and Smo is this guy who can paint whatever.
One of the best artists on YouTube, I think.
Yes, I mean, when I met him and I realized that he can paint whatever he wants. Whatever, I mean, characters, realism,
everything,
whatever. And this was something what I wanted to do. That's why I started with this more artistic stuff, like painting, well, first of all, drawing, or realism, and stuff like this. And I sort of abandoned graffiti. I was not really doing graffiti, but I was still kind of known for being this graffiti guy. And, you know, these comments were starting to pop up. Like, I miss your graffiti stuff. Where is the graffiti?
Because that was your brand for a while.
Yeah, that was who I was, and I kind of abandoned that. Then I sort of got back with my I Try series. That was like a mix of graffiti, and trying to learn how to paint different stuff.
Yeah.
And it was working perfectly. This was the time when I gained probably most of my views, because it was interesting for people who also don't really care about graffiti.
Super entertaining.
Yeah, it was, because it was a challenge every single time. Yeah. But then I was like, okay, I did this like 15 times. I hate this. I don't want to. Yeah, I every single time when I was coming to the wall and trying to paint something new, I was like, okay.
It was like a job at that point. It wasn't passionate. You knew the videos would be doing well.
It was still a passion. I kind of like the challenge, but it was I didn't have a comfort zone. And I know that this is a common thing. God, get out of your comfort zone. But if you are constantly out of your comfort zone, it's you don't feel good about that, because it's just. And I also kind of ran out of ideas, to be honest, because I painted all these effects. And
yeah, you did a lot.
And back to the question, art versus graffiti. Right now, I'm sort of, because I feel like I learned how to paint different things. I can paint realism, I can paint characters. And right now I'm at the point where I sort of need to choose.
Really? Interesting.
Graffiti, what I want to do, what should define me.
Right. Moving forward.
Yeah.
I think you won't ever lose graffiti.
I don't want to lose graffiti because
no, but like, do you think you'll get worse at graffiti? I don't think so. It's like you've spent so long developing a style, the understanding.
I think I got worse in graffiti.
You think so?
And people think that too.
Interesting.
Sadly.
Interesting.
Because I kind of abandoned it And some of my last pieces were like for people were writing me that I liked your style better when you were younger. And
Interesting.
but I feel like this is the right way, you know, getting out of your comfort zone. Right now I'm sort of getting back to it, and I need to choose what I want to do. And I love the fact that I have this opportunity, because before I didn't have it. I couldn't say I want to paint characters.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to do that.
Right.
Right now, I mean, I don't want to say that I can paint great characters.
No, but from your videos, you've been trying, you've been practicing, like you've clearly put in years of work to transition to this new world of
and right now
out of graffiti.
Yes, and right now I feel like it's time to define my style again.
Oh, that's awesome.
Something
and that's
like
exciting.
That.
I feel very similar. I think we've had similar paths. I just I left graffiti way earlier than you.
Yes.
But like I was the same. My whole origin story of anything artistic was graffiti. I loved it. Only from YouTube, seeing people, and more specifically like the graffiti characters, like the B-boys. I loved it. That's what I wanted to do. I remember watching videos being like, I want to do that. How do I do that? But then very quickly, I love the characters. I love doing the random faces, and that only informed all of the other realism at a faster rate, because I'm like, okay, I love these wacky faces. I want to be able to paint a real face, and I want to be able to paint a real face properly. And then I had a couple opportunities to go to this art school over the summer where you would draw humans like naked, and I was just in love with it. But I can relate to you in that, like, leaving and trying a new style, but it's so exciting.
Yeah, you basically did the same. You abandoned graffiti. And
that sounds so sad though.
Yeah.
Goodbye, it's like a child.
Goodbye.
No, see, like that's the thing. And I still love graffiti. Like I have a lot of love for it. There's so many guys in New York. I see
you have been the one.
And like I still follow all the, like, you know, all the old MSK guys who are now like very famous, like Pose or Rhyme. Like, I love that. I will always love the culture of graffiti. Softfuls, I know you love Does.
Yeah, Softfuls as well.
But I just don't do it anymore. But I'm still a fan. I'm still a consumer of it.
Yeah, but for example, speaking of these styles, because I feel like what I was describing before is kind of confusing.
No, I thought it was clear,
but
maybe.
What I see you doing right now, or style-wise, you right now, is these characters. This style that you see behind you, and realistic.
Yep.
And you have these two paths, and that's what you do. And maybe one day you will get this third path, and you will come back to graffiti. Who knows?
Yeah.
And
yeah. But that's why, like, because again, not to keep ranting, but it makes it so fun, because I don't know if you get these questions. How do you deal with artist block? And it's like, I don't have that, because first of all, I'm obsessed. I love to paint and doing things, but I have these different categories of more fantastical, stylized, and then realism, which is a whole nother language. So like there's always somewhere else to go if I'm getting bored. And a lot of that has to do with like my YouTube projects. Like I just spent a long time on that Minotaur girl, oil painting, traditional. And now I'm like, oh, I don't want to do it. Like I want to do one of these projects, you know, just to fill the void. And so I think but I will say at that same time, if you have too many categories, you can't advance.
This is my problem right now.
Because you're only going a couple % at so many things.
Exactly.
If you only have one or two, you can advance more. So that's been one of my major issues with even oil paint or anything. Like video, YouTube, you could use any genre. But I think that's true.
I think this is where I am right now, because I don't know. 2 weeks ago, I sort of created this file on my computer where
secret file.
Yeah, secret file. And I've put there like styles folder, and I put all these styles that I sort of have in there. And
cool.
there was like 8 styles, and I was like, okay, this is nice, but also this is exactly that problem. I think I'm having it right now, that I don't really have a direction. And I need to pick one. Well, it doesn't need to be one. It can be 2, 3, but you can't do eight styles.
And put, 6 months into doing that one thing. And really, it takes time. It takes a lot of projects, a lot of work, but I totally feel you. And I think it's funny. I feel like that actually is unique because it's our job, it's also our passions. But a lot of kids are, or adults are the other side where they're struggling just to find one thing they want to do. We have like many things kind of in the basket, so to speak.
And he also mentioned the artist blog, and I completely agree that I don't really like get artist blog. I get super frustrated all the time. Okay, not all the time. There are times when I get super frustrated.
Yeah.
But I don't call that artist blog. I call that struggle, and that's it will always be there.
Yep.
And it's fine. But speaking of these styles, I also think that some artists, especially in graffiti community, have this other problem that they have their style, and that's all they are doing.
Yeah.
And I even got, this is something what people tell me, that I don't have this style. And I kind of feel like, do I need to have that one style? But I also need to agree with that yes, you should have something what is typical for you, because then it's just confusing for people. It is.
And I tell people, not that I'm some master, but I know that like a style, you can only get a style by doing something for a very long time. And if you force a style, you'll never get anything. It's just the way you paint, the way you draw, it will come naturally. And I always have idolized Kipto and 1000 for that, because I think their style is awesome, but it's also just so them. Like you could see a million murals and be able to tell which one's Kipto's, right? Like it's just the way he paints. And same with 1000 and his characters, like, and that's only from them painting for a decade, and like painting a lot just comes naturally. He paints how he paints, but it is dangerous to get stuck in one style.
The advantage of this more street art stuff that Kipto does and 1000 does is that they still have their one style, but it doesn't look the same all the time.
Right.
But the graffiti artists, they usually paint their name. So they paint the same exact thing again and again.
Boring.
Yeah. For some people it gets boring. Some people love it.
Right.
I mean, I love some artists, graffiti artists, who paint their name and they paint it again and again.
Yeah.
For example, you mentioned Softless. He paints mostly his name, but he, for example, doesn't have that one style. I think.
No, he's
every
amazing.
Single one of his pieces is kind of different. It's completely different.
I think he's one of the best artists in the world.
I completely agree.
Illustrator also, his girl characters, like out of his mind, talented.
He was a big role model for me, and he still is, because this is something what I want. He has so many styles in his backpack, and he just boom boom.
Yep.
Some of these videos that he does where he just paints for, I don't know, a weekend
in a big warehouse.
Yeah.
With a million paintings. Yeah.
It's absolutely amazing. Yeah. But on the other hand, you have guys who have their style. And Kipto, he definitely has that taste. Like you see that this is him. Yeah. And this is something what you should have as an artist, definitely.
Especially after a long time. Like again, like if you're just starting out, all these things, you shouldn't, like, don't put pressure on yourself. But if you're a professional, if it's your job and it's your profession, you should have some sort of signature style. But it's such a fun conversation, because it's so subjective also, like art is all subjective.
It's absolutely subjective, and I like it. I kind of don't like it at the same time, because I have that math part of me.
Yeah.
And it sometimes pisses me off that there is no right answer.
Yeah.
And at the same time, it makes things beautiful in art, because there is this problem that you can always call things like, this is my opinion in art, and people shouldn't be like, you are wrong because it's your opinion. But on the other hand, we also need some kind of a level that defines.
I'm so on your side 100%, and I've talked about this a lot, and there has to be some sort of hierarchic scale of right or wrong. And now it is still subjective even at the highest level, but Chris, I feel like you've heard me say this like a million times, but this is my analogy. It's like music. there's poppy music, and then there's jazz. And jazz is like more like math. It's a language. The most famous jazz players are the technical best players, chords, scales. And so in that world, in that language, there is right or wrong. This is good. This is bad. This is correct chord progression, blah, blah, blah. And then in the music industry, which millions of people love, it's just a couple chords. No one really cares. It's how it sounds, how it makes them feel. And that's why I love traditional oil painting, because there is that almost right or wrong.
Yeah.
Either you're going to paint a portrait of me and it's going to look like me, or it's not. You know, a little thing off, you're going to be able to tell it's wrong. And so that world, to me, that category is very almost uncreative, because it's just training in this language where there is right or wrong. And for me, that's really cathartic. And it allows me to just like study and just get better at this sort of language of, values of right or wrong, rather than this. You know, you can't say that's right or wrong. It's just that.
Exactly.
But that, like, you're going to say that looks like me or that doesn't look like me. So I completely agree. And I'm not ripping on anyone. Anyone should be able to make art and anything. But I need and I desire that sort of rubric and framework of sort of, hey, is this correct? Is this incorrect? I don't know. Rant.
I love, this is the thing that I love about realism, that there is this right or wrong, or there is defined. And there is a similar topic in graffiti, like anti-style.
I haven't heard of that. Anti-style.
Yeah.
Wow, I've not heard that.
That's what I meant. It's like very, you have these classic style guys like SLEW, for example, very clean, very stylized. And then there is anti.
Yep.
How do
anti, same thing.
Anti-style. And you just, many times this style looks like complete punk.
Wow.
And people, a lot of these classic style writers.
We got anti-style. Are these true?
Yeah, sort of. Some of these pieces were like more classic, but we
lost it, Chris.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I just didn't. I couldn't see it. No, I mean.
Okay. But I get what you're saying. Like SLEW is like classic, wild style, and amazing, beautiful.
And then there is this other path of anti-style, and a lot of people like hate on it because it's kids does that and blah blah blah. And the thing is that if you start with because these anti
same thing.
Anti-style pieces, they're definitely easier to make because most of the time it's like technically easy.
Yeah.
And people hate on it because of that. But on the other hand, I love that it's so different. But if you start as an artist with anti-style, it's kind of like, okay, I completely respect when someone who proved his skills in painting start doing this, because I know that he can, like Picasso.
Exactly. I was about to say him.
He can paint whatever.
Anything, masterfully.
Yeah, and he chose, Picasso. This is, I felt like I couldn't explain this properly, but this is exactly what I wanted to describe, Picasso.
And he was the one who quoted, maybe not, it's been said before, you have to learn the rules to then be able to break them.
Exactly.
And I completely agree. And that's the same thing with, like, if you want to go into like more fine arts, it's like people start off doing abstract stuff. There's nothing wrong with that. But then you can't, it's like there's visual language is a visual language. And it's like abstractism is fine. It's a style, but it's, you want to be able to learn. Again, I don't want to say there's a right or wrong, but for me and my practice, and that's why I went to a school right actually where you're staying on 57th it's an atelier where all you do is learn to draw very traditionally and properly. And it's their way or the highway. You have to learn to draw like this. You get creamed with fundamentals for like months, and it really helps you understand sort of the theory of being able to paint nature. And it was so beneficial to me. And I love that core kind of foundation and rules
Yeah,
to inform other random things that I want to do.
exactly. But I see one problem here, that when is the time when you can switch from this set path that is correct and you can start with abstract? You
You're
know?
right. I don't know.
Because I don't feel like a person who knows all these fundamentals. And there was a time when I was like, okay, I need to learn this first, and then I can start working on my style, because all we just said. But then you realize that to get very good in these fundamentals, you need years.
Yeah.
And I don't really have that time, you know.
No, you don't, and neither do I. And I started late, and you're right. There is no time frame, and there shouldn't be. Like it's for whatever you want to do. You know, like you could still do a successful portrait having only drawn for 4 or 5 months. Like it may take you longer, you might fumble around, but there is no path. And the sad thing about those traditional schools, the one I went to only for 1 year, they are very like elitism, and their way is the only way. They hate like abstract artists or anything stylized. It's like too traditional. It's good to learn, but people get sucked into that world where they don't have the option to go out, and I don't know. It's a rant, but it's a great conversation. And again, I feel like we've had similar paths, and I'm just excited because I think you should experiment and lock in a new style, because it's only exciting. And you know, as an artist, like working hard at something and then like impressing yourself is like, there's nothing better. There's no drug on earth that can make you feel better about making something you're like excited about.
Yeah. And sometimes there are periods when you don't have this feeling, but eventually your goal is basically to get to that point.
Yeah.
And basically that's the ultimate goal. And this is the problem, that if someone just he's satisfied after, I don't know, whatever. Yeah, it's a complicated.
Yeah.
When I think about all these things that we just defined, it's a very complicated world.
It is.
Because it's not defined.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And the world's even changing. Like now, like artists are just on YouTube just for YouTube. We actually have, to switch it up, a little surprise for you. So Chris will bring it up. Hopefully
Keep talking. Give me a second.
Okay. But after this, I want to talk about that, because I think there's something else we share. There's a theme of art and then making art for content. And like, I consider myself a videographer, and that's a huge creative outlet for me.
Yeah.
But then I'm painting in the video, so it's this weird circle of painting for videos, and I love to make the videos about the paintings. And that's another thing that's like, I've told people that YouTube is like a blessing and a curse. It's like I would never have been painting as much as I have in my life if it wasn't for my passion to record it. But now I can't paint or draw without recording it. And it's like a curse.
Yes, it is.
All right, but we're going to put a pin in that, and we're going to watch this.
Hello, Doke, my friend. Hello to the USA. So cool that you are now in the SLEWNIVERSE. So cool. Slew asked me if I got a cool question for you, and I have one. And I want you to make a prediction. Please tell me, what will you be doing in 5 years? Like, is YouTube still existing? Do we have flying cars? Is everything like it is now? Or will you be a TikTok star? I want to know what you will be doing in 5 years. Yeah, this would be interesting. Goodbye.
Great question.
Legend.
Great question also. Thank you, Smo.
Yes, it's a very good question, and I ask myself this question quite a lot. In 5 years. You know, I noticed a trend on YouTube that views in general are getting down. And I saw it across all the channels from Jazza to no, I didn't want to mention him specifically, but from his group of artists like who try all kinds of different things, and from through graffiti scene, all these categories, views are getting down. And I have some theories why. For example, Smo mentioned TikTok. I think people spend a lot more time on TikTok these days. And yeah, will we still be doing YouTube videos in 5 years? I guess yes. But I can't say that for sure. There is a part of me that is kind of scared that it just won't work. But on the other hand, I can't imagine these other platforms like TikTok replacing this completely, because I think that there will be still a place for this longer format. But I think the question is if we will still be able to make a living out of it.
Yeah.
Because I am still able to do that, but it's getting harder.
Yep.
And I think we all kind of feel it. We all kind of see it. And the positive part of my brain is telling me that we'll just adapt, you know. It's always about adapting. Across the whole history, you always had to adapt. Although, back in the days, things were happening a lot slower.
Yes, good point.
These days, things are happening at very fast pace, and we have to adapt very fast. And TikTok, yeah. TikTok is great.
Yeah.
But you can't make nothing out of it.
I mean, for us, in the world we're in, it just stinks because we spend so long painting something and then you have to make a 60-second clip of it. So it's a bummer for our world.
This is not
specifically.
Exactly. This is what you just said is the reason why TikTok is not for artists. Because yes, it can be for us, but if we post one TikTok per, I don't know, week, even 3 days, it's not enough.
Yeah.
It's not
100%.
enough for that platform.
Yeah.
So as long as people want to see artists doing what we do,
yeah,
I think we will be fine, maybe.
I agree. I don't think YouTube will ever die, but I think part of what you said, and maybe his question was, besides YouTube, what are you want to do in 5 years? Because I don't even know. I love YouTube, born and raised, but I can't say that I'm going to want to do this, you know, even in 5 years. Maybe like I want to try something completely new. Like we're still pretty young. Like we could start a new career, or we could, you know, we could still be artists, but not be artists on YouTube. I don't know. It's a hard question, but
yeah. I think that YouTube will always be sort of a part of my portfolio of social presence, but what I know for sure is that I don't want to be doing YouTube the way I am doing it at this point for I don't know, 10 years. Maybe in 5 years that's like the level where I can see myself doing it, but for longer, what I mean by that is producing a video every single week.
Yeah.
Because that's my goal right now.
Yeah.
And
me too, and it's freaking hard, man.
It's that curse you talked about.
Yeah.
This is the curse, because you don't have these longer periods when you can create them if you produce videos for more weeks, and then you have sort of more free time. But yeah, that means you need to produce 3 videos per week, which is hard.
Crazy.
And what are the other ways? Well, Smo is an perfect example of artist who was making a living without YouTube with commissions. But on the other hand, commissions, I do them from time to time, and they are great, and but I don't really want to see myself as a completely commissioned artist.
Me too.
Just painting for what people want, because especially in murals, it's a very like, yeah, can you paint a deer on my...
Yeah, no, I understand. Especially if you have the option to do whatever you want, make money.
Yeah.
That seems less...
I think we all chase that opportunity to do what we want and sell that, right?
Of course.
To have that freedom. You can create that in commission world.
Yeah.
You just say, okay, this is my style. I do this. You can pick that.
But
or
harder. Yeah.
It's
We're
harder.
very lucky. It's hard to complain, but I understand how you feel.
And Other ways, well, NFTs.
Yeah, don't get me started.
I was watching that podcast with
Dean.
Yeah, Dean, and he was talking about all these NFTs, and I was like, God damn it. I'm so late to this world.
Dude, you're telling me. And then I don't know if you saw a video I uploaded recently, because I was going to move the podcast onto the main channel.
I saw that.
And then like so many people were ripping on me, unsubscribing. And a lot of them were talking, we were just talking about this, Chris and I, like about, I never mentioned NFTs on my main channel ever. Never. I only had the title with Dean saying a real NFT artist. And by the way, Dean's amazing. He's a traditional artist, amazing artist that happened now to like find success in NFTs. And people were just like typing like, if you start doing NFTs, I'll never watch a video again. Like, we hate it. Like, and people were just cutthroat. And I was like, oh God, I gotta be careful.
Yeah, it's very careful. You need to be very careful.
The YouTube community hates it, I think.
Well, my biggest problem with NFTs is the eco-friendly factor.
Yeah.
You probably remember 1000's video
Yeah,
about
he did
that.
a great video.
That he wanted to get into this world, but then he realized this and that it's very it has a very big carbon fiber footprint.
Yep.
On the other hand, I was doing some research on this, and in the next, 6 months, we should make this. They should fix this, like the blockchain.
Yep.
It will be more eco-friendly.
Yeah. You have the energy it takes to do all of these things.
Yes. So I think that when this is gone, I don't care that people don't like NFTs.
Yeah.
If it's eco-friendly, I will get into that space.
For sure.
But if it is a future, I think the hype is kind of over.
Yep.
It will stay here, but
Yeah.
I see NFTs as sort of a certificate for real. Digital art is real art, but
it is. It really is. It's just the technology to certify something digital.
Yeah.
NFT art is shit. It's pretty much shitty art. People just trying to make money.
Yeah.
That's what I don't like. The pump and dump, kids just trying to make a bunch of money. God bless you if you're making money, get yours. But the actual artists that make NFT, it's bad art. Again, there's no such thing as bad art, but we could all agree it's pretty shitty.
Yes, we can.
This is kind of my final question, my biggest question. Do you still have beef with Ghost EA?
I have a new beef.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, the beef with Ghost EA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm kidding, obviously, but
yeah. No, it's not. It's not. We don't have a beef anymore.
Yeah.
I guess. But it was my first big beef in the social media space.
Yeah.
And it taught me a lot.
Yeah. Like
yeah.
what?
It taught me a lot that. What? That's a good question.
Well, I'm just curious because, like, I don't.
Yeah.
It was a long time ago.
What I did back there was that I basically say that I don't like his style.
Mm-hmm.
And when I'm thinking about it, there was nothing wrong about that.
Mm-hmm.
You can, because I remember saying I respect him as a artist, whatever. Nothing personal. I just don't like his style. That's what I said. And then it went into some beef. But
did he ever reach out to you?
Personally, no.
No.
But I remember that back then there was. I don't want to get into that. It's not a beef anymore.
Good. And I was just kidding, people. That was just more of like a joke. Final question.
Yeah, but beefs are a part of the game.
You're right. Did you see the Jazza? What's his face? ZHC. Yeah.
That was a lot of work Jazza put into that one.
And I thought it was a joke at first, but it was like real.
But I think that people were feeling that this is growing. Something is growing.
But it was like intense.
Yeah.
2 30-minute videos. And he had ZHC on to talk about it. And I thought it was a giant troll, like April Fools. And I kept watching. I was like, wait, Jazz is really slapping him. Slapping his cheeks.
Yeah. You know what? Because I sort of felt like Jazza was always the godfather of graffiti YouTube, and suddenly not graffiti, art YouTube.
Yeah.
And then suddenly this young artist appeared, and he crushed it.
I mean, he Mr. Beasted it.
Yes, but yeah, he started to copy Mr. Beast, and it worked.
It worked.
And it is kind of sad that it worked, but
it's the same thing as that we were just talking about. The why I don't really care. Again, I'm jealous. He gets more views in 3 hours than my whole YouTube career in 5 years have gotten. But he is an amazing illustrator, and he's a really talented artist. His early videos, like, he really knows how to draw. He's trained, and he's a really technically talented artist.
Definitely.
And he moved into this to get his money and make a bag, and so respect. I mean, it is a little sellouty, but the fact that I know he's like a trained, good artist, I have no issue with it.
You know, it shows a sad truth that YouTube isn't really for artists, maybe.
You can't romanticize the art world, especially if you want to make a living. You got to play the game.
Yes, and the game is to make a great title and a great thumbnail.
Yep.
I mean,
The fucking bane of my existence.
yes, that's the curse. That's the curse.
I know, you understand.
And
You understand.
people are telling me like, you just think these thumbnails, and you have to do that.
You have to,
I
man.
can't name in my video graffiti piece number 487.
Yeah.
You have to play the game. There is
You're
no
good at it. You're really good at it. You've gotten so many viral videos. But again, it's true. And like, I don't give a shit anymore. Like, clickbait, whatever. It's like anything. Talk about YouTube channels dying. My views have been so low. Whatever. That's the ebb and flows of it. But it's like, if it's not a crazy catchy thumbnail title, and I'm spending weeks on a painting and making a video, and then no one sees it, it's like, what am I doing?
I think that this is showing that YouTube, it would be a lot more efficient if you sell the painting for some money,
Yeah.
good money.
Yeah, but now I have
and-
sponsors, which is actually helping. So it's like, doesn't matter
Yeah.
if the video does well or not. Sponsorships. You don't really do sponsorships.
I don't
Why? You
get
can-
that.
No, that's not true. No way. Really?
I
Is it
am-
because you're in Bratislava?
I am surprised that, for example, 1000 in every single video, he almost in the last weeks.
You would throw up to hear how much money he makes. And I don't know specifically, but I'm good friends with him. But like, just the amount of like views, you don't get reached out from any companies. I can't believe that's true.
I get some offers, for example, but how I got an offer from Skillshare, for example, but I had one video. He has 10 videos.
Yeah.
Why? How?
I signed the contracts also. I do like 6-month deals, 10-month. But the rates are lower, but it's still like that money is way better than the YouTube ad revenue for me now, at least.
Yes. And
That's crazy, dude. You
But-
get so many views.
I get offers, but I don't get that many of them. And for sure, if it is something that I don't want to support,
Yeah,
I just
right.
say no.
Of course.
But yeah, I don't get all that many offers, and I'm kind of sad about that. But on the other hand, I don't really like to involve these things in my videos.
Yeah, no, you're good at that. Like, you're the least selly out. I mean, not that it's bad or good. And I don't want to keep talking about money because it's personal and whatever, but you collect eyeballs and you have a bunch of eyeballs, you should be able to, I'm sure companies want your balls.
Maybe it is maybe companies want my balls. Oh, okay. Cut that out. Yeah, that's
Chris loved that one.
That's the thumbnail.
Yeah.
You know, some crazy face.
Companies want doke balls.
Yeah, that's the thumbnail and title, and boom, we got it. Maybe it is the problem that I'm from Slovakia. Once I got reached out by some computer company, Asus maybe.
Asus. Yeah, it's like computer or computer.
Yeah, maybe. I think it was them, and they were like, they wanted to send me a monitor or something. I was like, yeah, sure, great. And then they were like, what's your shipping address? And I was like, Slovakia. And they were like, we can't do that. We can't do that. But some companies are able to do that. But yeah, sponsorships are definitely a great way how to make a lot more money from YouTube.
Yeah.
Because if you have a sponsorship in your video, it basically I don't know, triples, maybe even
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
the revenue from
And I
that
wouldn't be
one
able to
video.
do it. Like I wouldn't be able to have this place if I didn't have like the consistent. I don't have them every video, but out of 4 or 5 videos a month, 3, sometimes 4 are a sponsored video, and it really helps me. I mean, just my YouTube AdSense, it's like very low recently, so I could not do any of this. But
I will give an example. I had a sponsored video by PUBG
yeah, nice.
in December, and that one video, that one sponsorship basically created more revenue than my whole work in next 2 months.
Yeah, wow.
This is the effect that sponsorship
Yeah,
has.
it's amazing.
Yeah, I need to get more sponsorships, I guess.
Yeah. We got to end it here because we've almost done 90 minutes, but there's so many more things I want to ask you, like about your favorite YouTubers and other things. But you know what? This will be a perfect time for when you come back to New York City, and we'll do round 2.
Okay, but that's gonna be a lot of time.
No, it's not. We can also do it over Skype and stuff. No, whatever. But
Yeah, it's always better.
maybe
in
I'll come to
person.
Bratislava. We'll bring all this gear.
Yeah, I want to see American guy coming to my city. I want to see the
No
reactions.
Americans have ever been there.
Kipto wanted to come, but
Yeah.
then I was like, because he had this crazy road across Europe, and I was
Right.
like, you don't really need to come here, you know. There's like, I
That's
can
funny.
come to see you,
Yeah.
but I didn't have that many guests. Small arrived, but Germany, Slovakia, that's pretty well. Okay, it's not that similar.
Yeah.
but I would like to just see your reactions.
I'd love it. I've been to Europe like quite a bit, but I just love traveling, and it would be great. I mean, it'd just be exciting. Vienna's right there, especially if if I rented a car.
Vienna is boring.
Is it?
I know it's great, but
I don't know.
I just need to convince people
What about
that
what about
my city's better.
Hungary? What's the biggest?
Hungary?
What's the biggest?
Budapest.
Budapest.
It's
And
free.
Prague.
Prague is in Czech Republic.
Okay.
These Vienna, Budapest,
Yeah.
Prague, Bratislava. You can do all these in one trip. It's pretty close.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'll have to get to Central Europe. Central Europe.
It's Central East.
And also for people listening, we're painting a mural tomorrow. We forgot to mention that,
Yeah, I completely forgot about that. To be honest.
but it's gonna be great. So
But it's great that we talked today,
yeah,
because what I hate about these collaborations is that when you meet someone for one day, you want to talk, you know.
Yeah.
You don't want to paint.
and we need to focus.
Yes, but
I'm
right
nervous.
now you're nervous.
Well, I just don't paint murals anymore. And the
okay.
style, it's like I'm always like, when I painted with 1000, I was like, oh, he just literally he's like, shut up, Slew, and he just goes nonstop, 10 hours straight, doesn't stop painting. Huge, amazing, and he's so never sketches anything out. God bless him. But I was like, what the fuck? I'm like checking my sketch. I'm drawing my iPad. I'm like, I don't paint murals anymore. But it's like an exciting, nervous.
Yeah, it's stressful, but we can deal with that.
It's just going to be fun. I mean, it's not going to rain one bit. And so this video, like maybe we'll splice some of that video. I'm going to come out with a vlog of like part of this podcast, Doke over here hanging, and the mural. And then I'm sure you'll have a video
I will.
of traveling to New York City and all the other awesome things you're going to do.
Yeah, but I don't have the thumbnail yet.
We'll make one.
We need to make something. We need to do something crazy, like.
Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, you're the king of the thumbnails. You started doing the... I was like, that's why. Look,
If you saw me doing thumbnails, it's like I start the camera and I'm like doing all these crazy faces because yeah, sometimes
it works though.
Sometimes I look at my thumbnails and I'm like I'm
Yeah,
not proud of this one.
But no one cares. And I, looking back, that's my biggest regret. I feel like I did the shittiest thumbnails and titles for like years when it was the prime time.
Yeah,
I never leaned into it enough.
If you don't have the good thumbnail, your video can be the best one in the world, but no one will see it.
All right. Well, anything else? Chris? You see how it got hotter in here just from the lights? I'm schwitzing a little.
It's completely.
Okay. Well, thanks for coming on. This was like a dream come true, man.
It was great. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, and we got all day tomorrow, and I guess that's it. So, signing off.
Bye.